And joining us now is visiting fellow at the US Studies Centre and Sky News contributor Bruce Wolpe. Bruce, good morning to you.
Janie.
Let's start with the impeachment approved by the House Judiciary Committee. The party lines voted 23-17, so now it looks like the House will vote Thursday morning our time.
Correct, and it was a straight party line vote. No Republican voted for impeachment, no Democrat voted against. It was on those two counts that Tim mentioned. So this will be high drama on the floor of the House of Representatives, and the vote will be Thursday morning, I expect, our time. The question that people are looking at, how many Democrats in swing districts, Trump is really popular, how many might vote against impeachment? There are no Republicans expected to vote for it, so this highly partisan charged issue will then go to the Senate for trial.
Donald Trump will come and say that, but everything's great for him. And really, if you're looking from outside in, it looks great. The economy's doing well.
China trade deal announced overnight.
He mentioned his fundraising. Look,
yeah.
He's on a high, despite all this going.
He is on a high. He said in the Oval Office a couple hours ago, there's a witch hunt. It's a sham. It's a hoax. I've done nothing wrong. I had the perfect phone call. And then he points to the China trade deal. He points to getting the U.S., Mexico, Canada free trade agreement through. The economy is booming. Unemployment is down. So why are you thinking about ending my term in office? So he believes he's in a strong position. He says his fundraising is up, his polls are up, and his base is motivated. But on the other hand, the Democrats' base is motivated too. They don't like this president. They think he's done some pretty profound things that are wrong, and they want him made accountable.
So if Donald Trump gets acquitted in the Senate, how's it going to make the Democrats look?
That is the real issue, and Trump is counting on a blowback against the Democrats for going down a route that was one feudal when you have an election coming in 10 months' time in which you can resolve these issues. So I think, but Democrats are saying this shows that the man is unfit for office, and they think their base will be motivated. And we'll see how that plays out in the primaries. Do they stay with a strong centrist candidate? Do they go left like they did in the UK with consequences there?
Regardless of what happens, this isn't going to kick him out.
No, this will not kick him out, but does it weaken him so that a Democrat wins in November?
Well, this is what Nancy Pelosi has been mentioning from the start. They could backflip.
It could backflip, but at the end of the day, they feel the abuse of power was so serious that they have to act. In other words, because he violated his oath, they think that the House Democrats are saying we cannot fulfill our oath under the Constitution and do the job to which we've been empowered. That is the constitutional conflict that we're facing.
Is there a good enough candidate, though, Bruce? Is there a good enough candidate from the Democrats to beat President Donald Trump? We all looked at Joe Biden's advertising campaign the other day, and I just thought, all you're doing is pumping up. Donald Trump loves that stuff.
And he's still leading in the national polls, but that is the question. Has he been weakened by the Trump tirade against, the Biden? Has some mud stuck? And that is to be resolved. And then, given the UK election, there are some lessons being drawn here. Yet, what would Trump like to do? Exactly what Boris did. Expand his base with white working class, a lot of labor seats went to Boris yesterday. Trump would love to do that in the industrial Midwest of the United States and beat a socialist. So if the Democrats go too far left, yes, that could open up a ramp to victory for Trump.
The free trade agreement between China, well, it's been going on since
yes.
September, but China has agreed to the first stage. How is this going to affect Australia? And also, we saw Wall Street rise in the back of it as well.
It's good news because it means that the corner's been turned on the trade war and now it's winding down. The most significant thing that happened was that Trump wound back some tariffs that he put on. He loves tariffs and he thinks they are highly effective, and he believes they brought China to the table. And so by winding back the tariffs, that shows that actually Trump is serious about getting a deal and that there's more room to remove more tariffs to get further concessions from the Chinese. And again, as you said, Janie, the effect on the markets is really really good, strong. And here in Australia, it just makes a better operating environment for the Australian economy, for exports to China and so forth. So it's good news.
It's a bit of the Australian psyche to find comedy in most things. And although they're talking about some pretty serious issues, the whole Twitter exchange between Donald Trump and Greta Thunberg is...
it's amazing.
Comedic on the edges.
And sad in some ways. Here's the president.
Let's show those. I think we've got them here.
The backstory. Trump loves to be on the cover of Time magazine. He was a contender to be Person of the Year this year. He really wished that it could have happened. It wasn't. So Greta Thunberg gets it. But what is it about her, do you think, that provokes people so much to come down so hard on her? Here's the President of the United States taking time out of his day when he's being impeached. He's trying to do a China deal. He's meeting with the President of Paraguay and a whole bunch of other things. And he attacks this this
I think
16-year-old.
we've got the tweets. Have we got the tweets? Let's just show these up so people that are just getting up now.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, there you go.
Greta must work on her anger management problem, then go to a good old-fashioned movie with a friend, chill, Greta, chill. It was interesting what she then put on her biography. It was pretty much a reflection of that on her Twitter page. It's interesting, though, isn't it? Because Donald Trump was Person of the Year in 2016, but he was the finalist for this year. She was the winner.
And he has covers of himself on Time magazine throughout his resorts in the United States. But again, why is the President of the United States taking time to do this? There's something about her that really upsets male politicians around the world, and her stance on climate change, her courage, her leading of a movement, young people coalescing behind her. I just don't understand it, but it is a talking point around the world.
Let's go to England because it's been a huge time, and we've talked to Laura again in the next hour. What do you make of all of this? Look, there's always that little thought bubble in the back, despite the mandate. Is there another curveball that can be thrown at Brexit, or is it just put the faders up and here we go?
I think it's in the Scottish vote. I think you got to look at that. And I think the question has to be asked, has a fuse been lit on Scotland really taking control of its destiny? And does that mean down the road the end of the United Kingdom as we know it? Americans are paying a lot of attention, American hardheads in politics paying a lot of attention to what happened there. You elect the Democrats in the House of Representatives, a year later you have impeachment of the President of the United States. You have this result, and Scotland becomes has a strong force in British politics. They have nationalist sentiment. Is that expressed in some form over the next year? So this is, it's a really decisive moment for the future of Britain. And I think people are going to look at it really closely.
Let's talk about the tweet that Donald Trump put out after Boris Johnson won. I think we've got it as well to put up on screen. There it is now. But he's talking about the US having that deal with the UK. So what is he trying to say here, Bruce?
He's trying to say Boris and I are aligned. He's very popular. We share the same common agenda. We're against global trade arrangements. Britain first, America first. We can do business together. We're cousins, we're family. And America, you see how popular Boris is? Well, we can do the same here and continue down this road. It's a good, Trump feels it's a really good day.
And from the sporting courses of the world, he'll be a little bit happier now that Tiger and Justin did well in Melbourne to get the President's Cup.
I think he's only sad he's not here to hit some balls with those guys. He'd love to do that.
Bruce, always good to talk to you. We'll
Thank you,
catch up with you next week.
Janie.
Thank you.